politics on Channels Television on this Boxing Day. I'm Kayode Kikulu here in Lagos. We'll begin with the situation in Sokoto, where the state government says at least 10 persons have been killed in a military airstrike while pursuing bandits in Gidambisa village of Salame local government area of the state in the early hours of today. Now, according to the chairman of the area, Abubakar Gitanrana, the incident occurred at about 6 a.m. of yesterday when two military fighter jets erroneously dropped bombs in the village, leaving 10 villages and many livestock dead. Governor Ahmed Aliyu was accompanied by leaders of the APC in the state and the Minister of Labour and Employment, Muhammad Dingyadi, for the funeral prayers for the deceased. Governor Aliyu described the incident as unfortunate and an act destined to happen by the Almighty Allah. He says he promised a thorough investigation will be conducted to find out what led to the unavoidable mistake so as to guard against a reoccurrence. Well, the military has also been speaking. The Joint Task Force Northwest Operation Fansen Yama has addressed the recent reports concerning a military fighter jet allegedly bombing civilian structures in the Salame local government area of Sokoto State. In a statement signed by the Coordinated Joint Media Coordination Center, Operation Fansen Yama, Lieutenant Colonel Abubakar Abdullahi, the military acknowledges that the reports have raised concerns, but clarifies that all military operations are conducted based on thorough intelligence and reconnaissance missions. Lieutenant Colonel Abdullahi explains that this rigorous process is particularly important when targeted groups like the Lakurawa terrorist organization, as it aims to ensure precision and protect civilian lives. In the statement, the military charges the public to rely on confirmed information and prevent misinformation and unnecessary panic because of the risk that terrorist groups may attempt to undermine military successes through media disinformation. The Media Coordination Center, Operation Fansanyama, then justified the military action taken, insisting that the targets struck in the vicinity of Gidan Sama and Rumtua have been positively identified as associated with the Lakurawa group. Staying with security, the Nigeria Police Force says it achieved major successes in tackling crime, leading to the arrest of 30,313 suspects for a range of serious offenses, including kidnapping, cultism, murder, rape, armed robbery, and unlawful possession of firearms. The Inspector General of Police, Mr. Kayode Betokun, who disclosed this in Abuja at an end-of-a-year meeting with strategic police managers, says the force also recovered several firearms and stolen vehicles from criminals during the period.
As we move forward into 2025, we cannot afford to rest on our laurels. The evolving security landscape demands innovation and adaptability. We will prioritize strengthening cybersecurity, countering terrorism, enhancing community policing, and professionalizing the force. Our officers' welfare will remain at the forefront, ensuring that they have the tools, resources, and support needed to excel. As strategic managers, your leadership will be key to the success of these initiatives. The performance of the Nigerian Police Force in 2025 depends on your ability to equip officers with the skills, mindset, and tools necessary to meet emerging threats. Together, we will continue to transform the Nigerian Police Force into a modern, effective, and trusted institution.
We'll bring you more perspectives on security, particularly what's playing out in Sokoto State and the military's response to that incident. In the meantime, elder statesman Edwin Clark is urging President Bola Tinubu administration and religious clerics across the country to prioritize peace and national unity as Nigeria joins the rest of the world to celebrate Christmas. The former Minister of Information and Niger Delta leader gave the charge in his Christmas message in the nation's capital, Abuja.
This Nigeria belongs to all of us. whether you're a Christian, you're a Muslim, we all own it. The moment you find yourself behaving as a second-class citizen, you are no longer a human being. This is what we fought for South Africa. And no one, whether you're Mr. President, you are head of state, has a right to treat anybody as a superior being than other Nigerians. The country does not belong to Mr. President Tinubu. It belongs to all of us. We have every right to be angry. We have every right to cry. We have every right to criticize anybody. Your duty is to carry your people along. We are all one. Whether you are in Southeast, whether you are in Southwest, whether you are in Northwest, you are in Northeast, North Central, or Southeast, or South-South, we are all Nigerians. So once again, I'm appealing to you that the church should preach more of oneness of Nigeria than anything else.
Well, the national chairman of the All Progressives Congress, APC, Abdullahi Ganduje, has appealed to Nigerians to be patient with the administration of President Bola Tinubu for the economic reforms he has embarked upon, which have brought discomfort to many. In a statement on the occasion of this year's Christmas celebration, he assured that by next year's Christmas, the economy will have stabilized better, noting that the government's effort in securing the country is yielding results, as cases of banditry and kidnapping have significantly reduced. He says, Mr. Ganduje added that as the nation navigates its developmental challenges, the APC leadership remains committed to promoting policies and programs that will bring about sustainable growth, security, and improved welfare for all citizens. Same with the party, the APC has set up a committee to reconcile aggrieved members of the party in Adamawa State following the outcome of the 2024 general elections. And the committee, led by a former senator representing Adamawa North, Mohammed Mana, met with members of the party's executive committee and other stakeholders at the party secretariat in Yola, the Adamawa State capital.
APC is strong and is party to beat in Adamawa State. We want to make sure that all our members are assured of their tenure, are assured that those who contest election will win again in 2027. And whatever little differences we have, that is as a result of the previous primaries and general elections, are buried, and that we resume our normal relationship for the success of the party. And we owe it a duty to President Bola Tinubu that Adamawa State, a critical APC state, that we reposition the state so that we vote for him again in 2027 and vote for all the others who are on seat and others that may contest the election.
It is indeed a special day for the whole APC Adamawa State. And with these high-part personalities as our members of the Reconciliation Committee, I can foresee the victory come 2027. And to my knowledge, this meeting is first of its kind in this secretariat. And we pray and hope their effort, their commitment will culminate into success.
When Lunchtime Politics returns, the moment will bring you more on the security situation in Sokoto State following what's been described as an accidental military jet airstrike. But the military is saying, well, this was conducted with precision. That's in a moment. Stay with us. back to the program. Let's now get into the situation playing out in Sokoto State. Well, the state government says at least 10 persons have been killed in a military airstrike while military was pursuing bandits in Gidambisa village of Silame local government area of the state in the early hours of yesterday. But the military then put out a statement by Joint Media Coordination Center Operation Fansen Yama saying that all military operations are conducted based on thorough intelligence and reconnaissance missions, and that the targets struck in the vicinity of Gindan Sama and Rumtua have been positively identified as associated with the Lakurawa group. We're joined now by Mr. Kingsley Uzoma, who's a security expert with some insights in terrorism studies, joins us virtually on the program. Welcome to Lunchtime Politics, Mr. Uzoma. Well, let me just...
good afternoon. Thanks for having me and compliment of the season.
Well, I wish you the same. It doesn't look like that would be the same atmosphere in Sokoto State with the recent incidents recorded. But you have a government saying one thing, even though the government that says that this may have been an accident. But the military in a statement said, well, we conduct our operations with precision, saying that the target struck in those two villages of Gidan Sama and Rumtua have been positively identified as associated with the Lakurawa group. I wonder what you make of those two positions.
Well, in the first place, all sincere condolences to the family of those in Sokoto who claimed to have lost individuals whatsoever. But again, that's a subject to verification. Like the military have said, all deployments, engagements, and what have you, and actions is based on intelligence and reconnaissance. But again, don't forget that with regards to the terrorists and bandits, there are people who are sentimental about these individuals who decided to be on the left side of the law in the affairs of Nigeria. They have families, they have those who sympathizes with them, who aligns with their mandate based on the philosophy that one man's terrorist is another man's freedom fighter. So therefore, you have civil society organizations, and based on the law that we practice in this part of the world. So not until somebody is apprehended, prosecuted, especially when maybe from the point of view of civil society organizations, human rights activists, and individuals, if these victims, these people who lost their life are not visible with arms, so there will be outcry that they are civilians. So it takes the military and with the help of other security agencies like the police to be able to verify, carry out investigation with regards to the victim, those affected, and be able to bring our report. So when you subject it to the report so far from the military, in my own opinion, I think the military this time around have been so careful and embrace high level of professionalism to reduce civilian casualties. Okay, but even if that appears to be the case, you cannot rule it out in any war that has to do with the guerrilla tactics that these bandits employs.
The concern then will be, how do we get to the truth in itself? Because what we've seen is both parties seeming to stick to their guns. A lot of people might remember about this time last year, the sad incident in Tudumbiri in Igabi local government area of Kaduna State, where we had scores killed in that accidental airstrike. Then, the military came out and said, oh yes, we acknowledge and, things will be done. But in this case, the military is saying, well, no, we're sure that those people who were hit have links to Lakurawa. The question then will be, when the government says it will conduct a thorough investigation, who should be handling this investigation such that we get the truth? Or, we hope that this will not be swept under the carpet and people will just move on. So how should investigations like this be conducted such that the outcome would be fair and very objective?
Okay, then such an investigation has to be joint in the sense that you have to have a detachment of the military, the police, other auxiliary security agencies like the civil defense. Then you have a representative from agencies like the Nigerian Bar Association, the NBA, and selected trusted civil society organizations, including media houses like the channels, among others. If it is conducted in that way, I can assure you we'll have unbiased investigation report and output. But again, we have a duty to trust the military and their pronouncement, but that can only be authenticated and corroborated if this joint investigation is carried in this manner, that both the media, the government agencies, the civil society are well represented, and a time frame being given, including the state representative, to be able to bring out the report. And therefore, the military seems to have encountered some level of errors. Then compensations should be made and more caution to be employed in future engagement.
Well, we've had, if anything, we've had several accidental airstrikes, but it looks like we've gotten a handle on that one. But seeing this one happening, clearly there will need to be much more probe into this to ensure that we all know what the truth is, and we'll, of course, be following this. But the concern then naturally will be, how do you see this impacting on the military-civilian relationship, if it would in any case, because the military needs the people and vice versa. The people need the military to secure them. So incidents like this, what do you think it might do, and how do we ensure that we don't have a breakdown in that relationship? Because if anything, the military is always looking forward to get the buy-in, collaboration of the people.
The military-civilian relationship, it's something the military, an aspect that the military must pay critical attention to, okay? Yes, because these military personnel, obviously, they have families in the society who, by and large, are also civilians in one lens or the other. Then after your engagement, the essence of your engagement as military personnel is for the protection of lives and property, away from the core mandate of protecting the integrity of protecting the integrity of our nation. So the military need to do more, especially this period that there is this allegation and suspicion. So the military public relations department needs to do more in terms of PR as regards to investigations. Then the military command also need to visit the communities, the traditional rulers, and those that be partner with the state government and also local government to tour the communities and see how to engage the people. Then in future and going forward, they have to ensure that the armament, the special apparatus being used for these operations are well guarded in terms of precision and maintained and targeted, well verified, especially wherefore you also have the ground troops supporting the air recognizance to make sure that actions are being carried the way they should be, because the engagement of the military is for the good of the larger civilian population.
So looking at this, I mean, the incidents as a whole now, you have the police, for example, saying it achieved major successes in tackling crime, leading to the arrest of 30,313 suspects for a range of offenses in the year, right? So it looks like the police saying, well, we're doing well. But on the ground, you see incidents, for example, of kidnapping. Just days ago, some passengers were kidnapped. in Ekiti State, en route across Ekiti State. And you've had other incidents of attacks, people on the road, villages, and the rest. So if you were to give a rating for this year, by the way, the numbers suggest that there have been more incidents this year than the previous year, what would be your own rating of the security agencies, particularly because the president says, well, he has trust in them, he's not going to do any sort of probe, he just backs them totally?
Yes, security from one lens, security has really improved with regards to what we had last year and 2 years ago, 2022, thanks to the to Mr. President, the Commander-in-Chief of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. And that is akin to his selection of one. You have to start with this, the first time that you are having someone who is from the background of the police, which is originally charged with the mandate of internal security as the national security advisor. That's the first time we are having someone from that background. Then the selection of the chief of defense staff coming from the north west geopolitical zone is very strategic in dealing with bandits and terrorism. Then back here in the south, you have the chief of army staff from the southwest. You have the other from the navy from the southeast. You see that based on that, there is some degree of geopolitical balancing in the security arrangements, improvement of the nation. That goes a long way in helping in terms of intelligence. But one thing we seem to be getting wrong as a nation is the fact that we see security more as the presence of uniform men, military, police officers with gun and what have you. No, it goes much more beyond that. It's one thing for you to have the presence of these men on major checkpoints along the federal highways and what have you. Is also another for them to do the proper internal security arrangement that is needed, because at the center or the heart of security is the intelligence aspect. So if you don't have the uniform men, the mufti guys, those like the DSS, those are mufti, those who knows the nooks and crannies of the communities and be able to engineer intelligence-driven security, then you will still have pockets of kidnapping, criminality across different locations, okay? But wherefore they embrace the intelligent mechanisms, they are able to activate and maximize the antenna of intelligence-driven security. Then you will discover that much more ever before these bandits, these criminals will launch their evil assault, they will be apprehended. And also the use of technology, because you know, we all know that when these kidnappers launch their attacks, before their victims, they make calls, and wherefore calls are made to demand for ransom. That can be traced. So the security agencies really need to be productive, maintain mutual relationship with the National Communication Commission and the telecom companies to make sure that these guys are tracked, and even wherefore ransom are paid, it can also be traced. And if I am not mistaken, I think that was part of the justification for the money that was the denomination of 1,000 that was changed then, that there was some degree of security chips or design in it that can make it traceable to these bandits. But on social medias, we've also seen where these criminal elements are in possession of millions of this cash, and it becomes a problem.
Well, I don't think there's any sort of chip in the new 1,000 naira note. Maybe security features from the minting company, but chips, that's quite extreme. But the point taken, really, some of these things were done in that sense to ensure that the security agencies are able to curb ransom paid and the rest. But we're back to square one, it will seem, because all the notes are now accepted. But we'll have to thank you so much, Mr. Kingsley Uzoma, a security expert with a focus on terrorism studies. Thank you so much for your time, and happy Boxing Day. Thank you for spending or sharing your time with us on the show.
Thanks for having me.
And just before we go, the Cross River State Governor Basio II has officially signed the state's 2025 appropriation bill into law. Well, while signing the bill at the Dan Achibong's Lodge in Calabar, Governor II emphasized that its focus is on driving economic growth and highlights sectoral allocations such as aviation, special duties, intergovernmental affairs, power, agriculture, tourism, and others. And that's the program for today. Thank you for watching. I'm Kayode Kikelu. Once again, have a splendid Boxing Day and Yuletide. Goodbye.